Hey YouTube, this is Justin, aka Demonic Sweaters. I know this video is getting posted a little bit late, so I apologize for that, but hopefully you guys still have some time to make your choice as to which drum set to buy for Christmas this year, and I'm here to help you out with that decision. So I've picked out 3 electronic drum kits that I think are the best gifts and the best deals right now on Amazon. I'm going to post links to all of these down below, and I'm going to tell you why I think these are all really good deals. So let's start off with number 3. Number 3 is our best budget drum set right here, which is the HXW SD61-5. This is also branded as Avatar. And Avatar actually makes a lot of really good products, electronic drum products. I have a Avatar PD705 electronic drum pad, like a sample pad, and that thing is great. I just played a gig with it last night. I've actually played several gigs with that thing, and it always works well for me. I've never had a single issue with it. And I've had a couple of these Avatar drum sets as well. I used to use one in my teaching studio, and I've now since passed that on to one of my students, and she still really loves the kit. I have other students who have purchased these drums, and they all work really well for everybody who's got them. They have a lot of great features for the money. This is $369, and you get all dual zone cymbals. This is something that is really hard to find in this price range by other manufacturers. You also get a dual zone snare drum and 3 single zone toms, and the toms are kind of designed like the Roland toms, where they have this plastic rim around the mesh part of the head. Now some people don't like this, but actually if you play these drums, it kind of gives them a really nice feel. They actually have a really good kind of realistic acoustic drum feel when you're playing them. The bass drum pad on this is actually quite large. It's a rubber pad, but it feels really nice, and it's really big enough with ample amount of room to put on a double bass drum pedal. It comes with a single bass drum pedal as well as the hi-hat pedal, and the module on this drum set is actually really good for the price. The sounds in the HXW kits I actually think sound really good for what they are. So basically all you would need if you purchase this would be some headphones and a seat, and you're good to go. I believe it does come with sticks, so you don't even need to buy those. So anyway, number 3 is a solid number 3 is this HXW SD61-5. They used to sell the SD61-6 in the United States, but for some reason that is no longer being sold here. I don't know why, but I had one of those kits, which was essentially the same, but it had different tom pads that were a little bit more like the snare drum pad on this kit right here. But overall, this is a great drum set, and it'll really make a great gift if you have a student, or a child that's learning drums. I highly recommend this drum set. Okay, number 2, I have the Alesis Surge SE. Now, the Alesis Surge is better in some ways than the Avatar kit, but it's worse in some ways, actually. Mainly, I think the cymbals in the module aren't quite as good as they are on the Avatar drums, and this one, as you can see, costs a little bit more, but it's still a nice drum set. I really like the rack on the Surge SE, and I just like, even though the module doesn't sound quite as good, I think it functions really well and it's easy to use. It has some coaching features. It has a nice metronome that's built in. It has tons of songs to play with, and it does have a USB connection, so you can connect it to a computer and use VST plugins as your drum sound if you like. I think it's a solid buy. I think it could probably come down maybe another $100, but overall I think it's a nice drum set, and it's going to last several years. Out of all the students that I have that play these drums, they've never had an issue with them. The reason why I'm picking this drum set, the Surge Mesh SE, over the Nitro, I used to recommend the Nitro, but the new version of the Nitro Max, is just not the same quality as the original one. The rack is extremely flimsy on the Nitro Max, and they just are not made very well at all. So I really don't recommend the Nitro Max, but I do recommend the Surge Mesh SE if you want to go with an Alesis drum set. Now, do I recommend it really over the Avatar? I don't know, actually, because, well, okay, maybe there's a couple of things that I need to point out that I do like better on the Alesis, and that is, number 1, the options you have for mounting your cymbals. As you can see on the Alesis here, they have cymbal arms that are mounted to the horizontal posts on the rack. not the posts. So that gives you more options as to where you can position these cymbals. If we go back to the avatar, you can see that they're on the corner posts of the drum. So you really only have 2 places that you can put those cymbals, and that's where they go. So that one thing right there actually can make a big difference, because you can position this ride in a more comfortable place, and it just makes it a little bit easier to play. The bass drum pad is mesh, so you have an upgrade there as well. Though I'm not 100% convinced that a mesh pad on the bass drum makes that big of a difference. I've had rubber pads on the bass drum that I like just fine, and we're going to talk about that here a little bit more in a second. The rack, though, I think is very nice on the Alesis kit here, and it does go up pretty high. So if you're taller and you just want something that's a little more solid, then the Alesis Surge is a good pick for you. So let's get on to number 1. I don't want to drag this on forever. This drum set, this is the Yamaha DTX6k-X, is an absolutely phenomenal deal right now. You only have to pay $734 to get a drum set that is worth far more than that. Now, there's a few things on here that you might be wondering is, hey, this thing has rubber pads on it. Isn't that worse? Well, that's a matter of opinion. Now, rubber pads are kind of an older technology. They've been around for a really long time, but they work really well. They maybe don't feel quite as good as mesh, but you do have a mesh snare pad, and that's the main drum you're going to be hitting most of the time. And the tom pads, they're really not that bad at all. But the thing that really stands out on this drum kit is the drum module. You are getting a very high-end drum module with this drum set. This is basically one of the best modules on the market right now. And for $734, you can't even buy a Roland TD27, which is something comparable to this drum module, but I actually do think that the DTX6k is still a better drum module than the TD27 is. And you're getting an entire drum set for less than it would cost to purchase just a TD27 module. And the reason why this module is so good is it has a lot of inputs on it. There's plenty of room to upgrade this drum set. It has built-in ambient and compression features. It has tons of onboard sounds that all sound really nice from what I've heard. You also have individual inputs on the back of the module, so you don't need to use a cable snake, which is really handy if you ever want to use this module on another project, or say you want to throw it on an acoustic drum set for some independent, drum triggering. You could do that very easily with this drum module. Some other great things you get on this drum set is a 3-zone ride cymbal. You don't get this on any of the other drum sets that I pointed out. That gives you a bell zone on the ride, a bow zone, as well as an edge zone. You get a single zone crash cymbal and single zone hi-hats. However, those are upgradable. You could upgrade those to dual zones, as well as being able to choke all of the cymbals that are on the drum set, which is a very nice feature. It does not come with a bass drum pedal, but it comes with everything else you see in this photo. So right now, $734, this drum set used to sell for $1,000. And Yamaha's sales, I think, were not as high as they had liked to have been on this drum set originally. And I think the rubber pads was a big part of that. That turned a lot of people off. But I play rubber pads pretty often, actually, on several. I have one on my kit right back there. And they're not as bad as people say they are. Sure, mesh feels better, but a rubber pad's not going to, end your drumming career if you play on a rubber pad. And the fact that the snare drum is so nice on this drum set, I think you'll still have a lot of fun playing it, and the sound alone definitely makes it worth it. You could easily upgrade these pads later on to mesh pads if you wanted to. There's a lot of options of things that you could put on there that would work. And you get a very nice stable rack system on these drums, as well as a really good kick drum trigger. I have one of these kick drum triggers that I use, basically anytime I need it. It's just a nice portable Yamaha electronic kick drum, and you can see it right there. It's a tower. It's rubber, but it works really well. And one thing I really like about this bass drum is it actually has a sensitivity adjustment knob, like an analog adjustment, and it also has 2 outputs there. And basically what you could do with that is you can link 2 of these together if you ever wanted to, and have not just a double bass drum pedal, you could have 2 bass drums if you wanted to do that later on. So it's a really good deal. I think it looks cool. It sounds great. It's made really well. Yamaha's quality, goes without question. They make everything that they make really well, and they have for a very long time. And as you can see on the module here, we also have USB output. It has Bluetooth. It has individual inputs. It has a USB connection on there that you can connect to your computer, as well as, I believe, a USB stick connection as well, where you can back up and restore kits. I believe that's what that is. But overall, I think this is a phenomenal deal. For under $1,000, you're getting professional sounding electronic drums that you really couldn't even get last year. So I highly recommend this Yamaha DTX6k-X. Anyway, that's my number one pick for this year. Sorry, I hit the mic. Like I said, all links are down below. And once again, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all really soon. Have a great day.